Hey guys, I'm Maggie. I have made a homemade jig to score and break various sized glass bottles. I'm going to turn this particular bottle into a planter, and in this video we're going to go over how and why I made my jig the way I did, and then we'll go about using it. If you have basic tools at home, such as a glass cutter, a drill, clamps, scrap wood, you should be able to do this yourself. The first thing you're going to want to do is take your glass cutter, and you're going to need a Phillips screw head driver to loosen and remove this screw, and then the cutter tip will be able to come off. So this is my jig. I had this homemade miter box sitting around, which worked pretty well. You can buy these at a hardware store for about $10–15 if you don't have a miter box lying around. The first thing I did was at the end of this miter box kind of notch out a little negative space that was the same width as my cutter head. Alright guys, so again here's my miter box, and I have it on the edge of my work surface. I've got my little glass cutter tip. I'm going to rest it in this notch. You want to put the notch at the far end. Don't put it in the middle. Put it to the far end of one side. That way, if you have different length bottles, you have this, and I'll explain it as we go, but you'll have all this room to adjust your base so you can cut your bottle where you want to. I'm going to put my glass cutter so it's about 1/8 of an inch beyond the inside wall of my miter box, and then I'm simply going to clamp it down to the table. So the bottle I'm going to cut is a pretty long, skinny bottle. And the first thing I want to do is kind of figure out how far into the bottle I want to cut. In general, the thickness of bottles is going to change around the shoulder. I would recommend cutting at least 1 or 2 inches down from the shoulder. Just for fun, I want to keep the label on this bottle, so I'm going to cut down as far as I can without getting into the label. And you're going to plant the plant in this portion of the bottle, and then the bottom half is going to be a self-watering um, part. So I'll explain that when we get to it. But I'm basically going to eye up where I want to score it. And then I've cut this base. That's about the width of the inside of my little jig here. And I'm going to screw this down so I have a backside and a wall that I can start to push and rotate my bottle against. If I had a shorter bottle, I would unscrew this and I'd move it up. If I had a longer bottle, I'd unscrew this and I'd move it back. So because this is not a permanent fixture in my jig, it allows me to adjust accordingly to the size of the bottle I want to cut. It is pretty important that everything is at a true 90-degree angle. Glass bottles don't really want to break nicely, and just having everything square is going to set you up for success better. So, all right. So now I have my back, I have my walls. Because my glass cutter is sticking out just a little bit from the interior edge of this, my bottle can kind of pivot a little. And again, I want to have everything nice and square. So I just have this little paint stir, and I'm actually going to break it in half. With my left hand, I'm going to push the back side of the bottle against the paint stir. And then with my right hand, I'm going to push into my backside wall while I rotate. So this is a better angle of what's going to happen with the bottle. Don't mind my belly in this shot. Again, I'm pushing back against this temporary back wall and rotating with my right hand, and then I'm holding the bottle secure with my left hand. Awesome. And that's it. One rotation is all you need. Because I had all these angles nice and square, I was able to give good pressure the whole way around and get this really clean and distinct score mark, which is what you're looking for. Okay, again, here's this glass bottle with this really nice clean score mark all around it. The next step is to break it, and basically now that it's scored, we just need to stress out the material. The easiest way to do that is going to be to drastically change the temperature on it. I have this lovely butane torch that I'm going to use. If you don't have a butane torch, you can use a candle, but you're going to want your heat source to be hands-free so you can hold the back and the front end of the bottle with each hand, and then you're going to want to rotate this over top of the flame. Resist the urge to get too close to the flame too quickly, and again, always keep it moving. I'm trying to evenly stress out this entire score mark at the same time. I also have a bucket of water. If this doesn't work right away, I'm going to dunk my bottle in the bucket of water and go back and forth from the hot to the cold. You might not need the water, but it's better to have it and not need it than the other way around. So again, I'd say I'm about 3 inches away from the flame and just kind of rotating. I don't know if you heard that little tink, but that was the glass breaking. Oh, and there you go. So now that I have this lovely broken bottle, I'm going to take some sandpaper and I'm just going to smooth down the edges around the outside and inside. It is a pretty clean break, but better safe than sorry. And then you should be able to manually tell if there's any sharp edges or not that you want to get rid of. Okay. I have a house plant that I've split and I'm going to replant into my bottle. And here's the bottom half of my bottle that I've filled up till about here with water. The fabric can just kind of thread through the neck, and that'll pick up the water and draw it up to the soil, hence the self-watering. Depending on the plant you have, some roots will actually grow down through the neck of the bottle and just kind of touch the water on their own, which is cool. There you go.